Hey everyone, I want to discuss the topic of the Wii U and the recent news stories that have been coming out from unnamed developers discussing the graphical power of the Wii U and trying to say that the Wii U is not up to par with the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Now, I'm going to first say my opinion of the whole thing is that I think it's complete bullshit. They're lying, and I find it very funny how they refuse to say who they are and who they work for. You know, it's every news report, it's always anonymous, you know, it's not, they're not saying who they are, you know? So how can you listen to somebody who isn't going to say, yeah, I work for EA, and here's what I think, you know? If they want to save their jobs, they can, you know, shove it up their ass. Now, what I brought up here, I've done some research. Now, what I'm going to give you is very, very rough numbers. What I'm going to give you is something that isn't exactly a fair comparison, but it kind of puts into perspective of what we're, quite possibly what we will be dealing with. What you see here is a GeForce 7800 GTX. Now, the PlayStation 3's graphics card is based heavily off of this chip. It has, I believe one of the SMs is disabled, which I believe there was 4 or 8 of them in total. And this is the score it gets. Now I'm using Passmark. Passmark, I do believe, is a very good source to get a good idea of benchmark scores, and they do have them for both CPUs and for graphics cards. So what I'm going to show you is a bunch of all. Alright, so this number isn't exactly the same it would be if you were to take the PS3's graphics card and actually run this kind of benchmark on it, but it's as close as it can get to an actual number. So now you see the score is, the average they're saying is about 563. So now what I'm going to show you is the Xbox 360, which is the Radeon X 1900 GT, or it's very, very similar to that card. Then now you see the number is higher, so we've all established that the Xbox 360's graphics card is far superior to the PlayStation 3's. Now, how the PlayStation 3 tends to have much better graphics is, if you are a developer who understands the cell architecture, what they do is they offset a lot of the power that would normally be used for the graphics card. They're offsetting a lot of that coding and a lot of the math and all that stuff that would normally be processed on the GPU. They're processing it on the cell. So like fog effects, smoke, water details, physics, all that stuff is being rendered on the CPU. Not exactly the best idea, and that's why a lot of ports run shitty on the PS3. But as you can see, there is a difference there. Not a huge, substantial difference, but there's a difference. Now, all we know from a rumor and a leaked out demo was the chip that the Wii U's hardware is based off of. Now, there's only 4 different possibilities of what it could be. They're not getting into specifics, but based off the R770, there's only 4 different actual graphics cards that we can use to kind of compare. Now, unfortunately, one of them, the lowest end, isn't even available on this Passmark, but there are 3 that are. And luckily, the 3 are the ones that I would say one of these has to be it. I don't think Nintendo would go with the lowest. But, now, remember, this is the Xbox 360, 780. PS3 is 563. The lowest one I can find for the Wii U, bam, 1,253. It's already blowing the 360 completely out of the water. It's already proving that over time things get better. They don't necessarily have to run as hot, don't necessarily have to use as much energy, but you're going to get substantial performance increasements from having a more modern design. So now, as you can see, 780 to 1253. So now I wanted to see, okay, what could be the next part up? What else could the Wii U have? And that is the 4850, which is even higher even higher than the 4830. And the difference between them is almost the same difference between the PS3 and 360's GPUs, between those two chips. And now the final one, which I don't think Nintendo would go for, is the 4870. Now, if you look at the 4870, it is a substantially faster than the 4850 and the 4830. So that kind of gives you a good idea. You know, we're in the triple digits here, we're in the quadruple digits here. And that is solely how, progress is made in technology. That, I always hear people say, oh, we're never going to have another console generation. Bullshit. If you truly think that the PlayStation 3 is still up to par, you're fooling yourself. You think you're full of shit. Now, the funny thing is, these 4800 series cards came out a very long time ago. The first benchmark scores are over 2 years old. So now think about it this way. Even mid-range cards like this, this is 3 generations old for ATI, was still beating the shit out of the 360 and PS3. Now, here's the other deal. Now, with these cards, when you see these numbers, there is a main difference between PC gaming and console gaming in regards to programming. When it comes to programming, specifically with consoles, and this is how they're able to extend their life the way they do. That's why sometimes you'll see a game that looks almost the same cross-platform. You know, it looks almost as the same with the PC version versus the console. And that's because you're programming specifically for that hardware. Whereas with PCs, they have a general mindset of what kind of hardware they want to target their application for, but they're not optimizing their application for every little bit of performance they can get out of these cards. So to see what the next gen's going to bring us is going to be very interesting, because they're able to get more performance out of these cards than PC games could have gotten out of them, because they weren't developed specifically for them. Now, my friend Kevin, he has this card, the 4870. Now, just for shits and giggles and just to really put it into perspective, I'm showing off the 2 top-of-the-line cards that are out today, my card and its competitor. First up, we have the Radeon HD 7870, which has a score of 3,351. You're looking at about 2.5 times faster than even the best card that Nintendo could quite possibly end up using in their Wii U. So it's that kind of thing where no matter what, consoles will always be behind PC games or PC gaming hardware, because it's just, you can't just switch out the hardware mid-run. A console is going to last 5 to 10 years. A PC, PC hardware lasts about 2 to 3. If you're really a true hardcore gamer, you're buying new hardware the second it friggin' comes out. Now, here's my graphics card. Almost 4,000 points, and that is the GTX 680. This is a beast of a card. It's definitely better than whatever is going to come out with Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo for next generation. But I definitely wanted to put things into perspective. Don't listen to the bullshit that developers are saying, because it's not true. When I first heard the story, I thought it was a joke. I really thought that somebody was just trying to stir up controversy. Somebody was just trying to, fuck with people, because that's what it seemed like. When you really look at these numbers, there's no chance in hell that the Wii U is going to be less powerful than a 360 or a PS3. It's complete bullshit if somebody tries to tell you that's going to be the case. It's not going to happen. Now, the interesting thing is that these 2 cards, which I just X'd out of one of my tabs, were considered top of the line in those generations. What Nintendo's using is mid-range, or mid to high range. They're not even using the top-of-the-line cards from that generation. So they have a reduction in heat, and a reduction in price to build it, and a reduction in power use. Whereas, the PlayStation 3, it kills itself over use because it's using pretty high-end parts in such a small package. So, that's my 2 cents, guys. Definitely tell me what you guys think. There's more Dead Space Let's Plays being uploaded today. I'm trying to do 3 a day, but you know, past few days have been a little bit busy. But yeah, I'm planning on finishing that Let's Play. We're not going to have a repeat of Sonic Generations, where it took me several months. But yeah, so definitely rate, comment, subscribe. If you guys have an argument to say about this, if you think I'm full of shit, write a comment below. I would love to hear what other people have to say. But definitely do your homework. Do your, you know, really look at what you're comparing to. Now, personally, I think Nintendo's going to pick between the 4830 or the 4850. I do not think they're going to go for a 4870. It just doesn't seem them, you know? And as I said, these numbers don't automatically translate to what you're going to see with the Wii U. There's just no way to do a 100% perfect direct comparison. Just there is no way of doing it. They're completely different animals. They run completely differently. You know, there's no overhead on a console. You know, you don't have Windows running on it. Your games are developed specifically for the hardware in your box, so you're not going to have any degradation in performance unless they code it shitty. So take care, guys. Look out for future content, and yeah, definitely subscribe.